cancer can come back, and when it does, we'll have to act fast. So today, as an oncology pharmacist, let's watch this episode of Cells at Work together, where cancer makes a reappearance. That's so ominous. That's so interesting because cancer recurrence is definitely something that we always want to prevent. But can this body beat it again? Okay, so they are currently in the gut. So these toxic gases, yeah, we know what those are. And these gases are just produced by the bacteria living in our gut, and their daily process is to digest our food, and they will release side products when they do that. Oh, okay. So they're still looking for this cancer cell. I guess I missed the previous episode. There's gotta be clues where the cancer cell did come back. Okay, we know things are gonna get intense. Ooh. Okay, did you guys see? The natural killer cell's knife lit up? So in the previous Cells at Work video that I made, I remember talking about how this show is very clever in depicting the different types of weapons that different immune cells uses. For example, the macrophage uses a huge cleaver, and the T cell uses his fist. I'll leave that video linked down below if you missed that part, but we see now the natural killer cells uses this hunting knife looking thing and that it lights up. And I think this is a metaphor for when natural killer cells are detecting infected threats. So natural killer cells basically patrol our body all the time, and they're actually on the hunt for abnormal cells throughout the body. So doesn't her knife look like a hunting knife to you? I just think there are so many Easter eggs in the whole Cells at Work series, and I actually think it would be fun to do a deep dive analysis to try to find all the Easter eggs and see what they represent medically. Yeah, I might try to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. If that's something you'd be interested in watching, please let me know down in the comments. Did she do it? Oh no. I really love all the depictions of the different cells in this anime. Do you remember when we first saw this cancer cell? He was with his friend and they were just running away, and I remember they almost looked exactly like each other. To me, when I was watching that part, it really felt like I was watching a cancer cell and its only goal is to replicate. But if you think about it, all the cells in our body can replicate. But in this show, any other cell types, the cells themselves actually look different, right? Remember the group of platelets that we saw? Every kid looks different and we can tell exactly who they are. But the cancer cell is depicted here as this kind of puppet duplication, so I thought that was really cool. In the episode where we first met him, I said, I can't believe this show made cancer cell a sympathetic villain. Let's see if we feel any sympathy for him now. Oh, this part's cool. Wow. I love the animation in this part. What a smart way to show a flashback. Okay, let's look at the setup here. We have one cancer cell versus 3 different types of immune cells. We have the neutrophils, the natural killer cell, and the T cell. And in a real human body, the actual immune cells that can fight off cancer cell are actually natural killer cells and T cells. Neutrophils actually don't really have a role here. And what's really amazing is we've actually come up with a way to genetically modify T cells to make them fight off cancer even better. Just to explain really quickly how we do that. We remove the T cells from the patient body, send that to the lab, and we genetically modify them. Once they have learned how to target and attack cancer cells, then we multiply them exponentially, and then we infuse them back into the patient. If you're interested in learning more about this, I made an entire video explaining every way we know to kill cancer, and I'll link that down below. But T cells and natural killer cells can get cancer too, actually. I remember seeing a very young patient in our hospital with natural killer cell lymphoma. And this is basically a type of cancer that unfortunately can be very aggressive, where the cancer cells were transformed from natural killer cells or T cells. So yeah, imagine in this show where the killer T and the NK lady are getting transformed into cancer cells themselves. Who's gonna fight them off? Nobody. Oh no. Right, so the fact that we're seeing this cancer cell again means that this is recurrent, which usually means this can be bad news, But it does not mean that there is no cure, and it doesn't mean that it has spread to anywhere else. I actually don't remember where we first saw the cancer cell in the previous episode, so if you guys remember, please let me know to refresh my memory. Since they're discovering this cancer cell now in the intestine, I'm going to guess that this is colorectal cancer, which unfortunately is now more and more common in younger people. So studies are actually showing that since the 90s, colorectal cancer has been increasing in rate steadily, especially in those between the age of 20 to 39, which pretty much matches my audience demographic. So I really recommend you guys to take good care of your bodies. And I recommend you guys to subscribe. It will really help support my channel, and you get to be the first to watch part 2 of the series when I upload it. So this increase in number of young people getting colorectal cancer are probably due to things like obesity, lack of exercise, and our diet. And I think it's super interesting that this show chose this place, the gut, to show where the cancer cell recurs. Because there's actually a very interesting and kind of new idea that links between the gut and cancer. So I'm gonna keep watching to see if this point comes up, and if it does, I'm going to make the connection between cancer and bacteria. She's still so confident. Alright, this guy is getting cockier, isn't he? I'm slowly losing my sympathy towards him. Ugh, that's kind of gross. So, our own immune cells versus cancer cells. Is there anything we can do to help us win this battle? And it turns out, yes there is. There are actually lots of ways to help your own body fight off cancer. The statistics is actually 4 in 10 cancer cases can actually be prevented by you taking some sort of action. So I might make a video in the future to talk about all the ways out there that claim they can help you fight cancer, and I'm gonna be going through what's real and what's fake. Okay, I might know who that is. And that is the one crucial key for cancer cells to escape our own immune system in the body. Yep. Yes, regulatory T cells, or we call them Tregs. Sounds like T-Rex.
Alan.
So they become activated when our own immune system starts to become really active and almost threaten to damage our own tissues, which is exactly the case when we see tumor activity. Normally they're super important, right? Because it can prevent chronic inflammation, they can prevent tissue damage, but in the case of tumors, they do kind of get in the way. But the good thing is, we've actually discovered a class of drugs to target Tregs. They fall under the big umbrella of immunotherapy, and these are specifically called checkpoint inhibitors, and they can do a really good job in our cancer patients to really utilize their own immune system to fight off the cancer. Oh, I remember this line. This was from episode 1, wasn't it? Ooh. Oh, God. This lady is just too good at her job. Look at her, she's still wearing her office lady outfit. Yeah, okay, we need to get that checkpoint inhibitor drug in there right now. You know what? The stuff that he just said, it's actually really interesting. I know it sounds dumb. If the body dies, the cancer cells would die with it, so it's kind of like a suicide mission. But did you know there could be a possibility where the body doesn't die from the cancer and they can actually coexist? We found that very large animals like elephants or whales almost never get cancer. Even if they do, they seem to never die from them. We haven't figured out why this is exactly, but what if? Because the overall size of those animals are just so big, the cancer is containable and it's kind of just like a growth in their body. And once the cancer is done growing, they just chill there with their own ecosystem going on, and they can create this balance with the actual living animal. And this has been brought up under an actual theory called Peto's paradox. But for humans, our sizes are simply too small and we'll never get to the point where the cancer cell says, hey, I'm happy with the way I am, now I'm gonna stop growing. So we just get killed before we even reach that stage. Alright, it seems like our cancer cell has leveled up from a young sympathetic villain all the way to this mad antagonist that wants to destroy the whole world. Where have I seen this before?
I am inevitable.
細胞さんが僕の味方をしてくれる。それにこの場所も。
I know this is supposed to be a character moment, but I'm just imagining the smell. That one looks so fun. Ooh, this is so fun. We get to see all the pathogens in the gut. Let's see if we can guess what all of them are. This alien thing that looks like he's traveled from The Simpsons, I think that was Pseudomonas because I saw him once in a previous episode. What other things live in the gut? I know there's E. coli for sure, so one of these has to be E. coli. What other things live in the gut? I'm blanking at the moment, guys.
人体の健康をサポートする善玉菌、さまざまな特徴を持つ悪玉菌、病原性の大腸菌。
Okay, so they do mention the good versus the evil bacteria in the gut, and I'm going to take this one step further and make the connection between bacteria and cancer. And that's because we now have a new cancer treatment, although it's still on clinical trials, called poop replacement therapy.
What?
Okay, scientifically, it's not called poop transplant therapy, it's actually called fecal microbiota transplantation, but we're just gonna call it poop transplant. I wish I could tell you guys more about this particular clinical trial that's running in the hospitals, but I can't because it's obviously super confidential, but I can generally tell you guys what this is. It sounds pretty obvious from the name. You take the poop of one healthy individual and you transplant that into someone else. But why would we do such a disgusting thing? Because it turns out these bacteria that's living in our gut are so important to our overall immune health. The good bacteria can help to protect us and kill cancers, and some of the bad bacteria can actually help to protect the cancers. So if we can take the poop from this superstar healthy individual that has amazing poop and we do some manipulation into the bacterial population to specifically target certain cancers, and then we just insert that into the cancer patient, these bacteria will then grow in the cancer patient's gut and help them to fight off cancer. And this is not the first time we've tried transplanting poop. This is already a proven effective method to treat something called the C. difficile infection. C. difficile, or we call them C. diff, is a bacteria that causes really nasty diarrhea in some patients. And usually they only grow in those who are already weakened and have a bad immune system. So they're not gonna have enough healthy bacteria in their gut to overcome this, and their own immune system isn't strong enough to fight this bacteria off. So what did we decide to do? Yes, we transplanted the healthy poop of another individual in these patients. Turns out this is super effective and it's now highly recommended in people with recurrent or refractory C. difficile infections. So I don't know when Cells at Work Season 2 was made, but this is really interesting. I don't know if they planned all of this, but to show that the cancer recurred in the gut and sort of building that bridge between gut health, bacteria, and cancer cells. Oh no!
悪玉菌の有害性としては腸内腐敗、細菌の毒素産生。
See, this show is actually telling us now that these toxic bacteria can produce toxins and carcinogens. I gotta say though, out of all these cells, I do like the cancer cells character design the best, and it kind of reminds me of some sort of demon from the underworld or Sephiroth. It is a bit ominous that we're seeing the end of the whole season lands on the episode called Cancer Cell Part 2. I feel like this is a very good visual representation for metastases. Okay, what? Did I predict this as well? Well, that's it for today, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel for more episodes like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!